Kuwana is pursued by RK, the crime ring running Kamurocho. Determined to prevent any more deaths, Yagami searches high and low for the handyman, but the search leads to a maze of dead ends. As the situation becomes dire, a lifeline appears at the other end of a phone. The caller offers a lead, one that expires too quick for comfort.
I only showed up at your bar so I could ask you about Kiwana. Does this mean you want something in return?
We'll get that sorted out, if you promise to meet me alone. No, I won't be at Survive for long. If you don't make it in 10 minutes, you'll never hear from me again.
Yagami-san, glad you could make it.
You the owner of Siren?
Yeah. Let's take this to the bar. Follow me. So, I hear you're a Kamurocho detective.
Yeah, and you're a distant relative of Kiwana's. Can I ask your name?
No need. This'll be the only time we meet. But to Kuwana-kun, I guess you'd call me his uncle-in-law. Everyone's got a dumbass uncle in the family. And that's me. After all, I'm ex-Yakuza.
Based in Yokohama?
Yeah, the Seiryu clan. After I got out, I looked after the shop for 20 years, till today.
You mean Siren, right? What'll happen to it once you've skipped town?
None of your concern.
Fair enough.
Guess you detective types can't help but ask questions.
So you two are related. I noticed you didn't mention Kiwana being an alias.
Oh. Done your homework, I see.
His real name's Kitakata. At least that's what the Kamurocho thugs called him.
You're trying to see if I'll give up his name. That's not why I'm here.
Okay. Why did you call me exactly?
Well, you see, Kuwana-kun wanted me to stop by his office and grab something for him.
Such as?
A pack of cigarettes with a lighter inside. Thing is, it was gone by the time I got there.
Don't you mean a USB stick made to look like a lighter? Let's not beat around the bush here.
See, I figured you'd grabbed it.
So of all things, Kiwana wanted you to pick this up?
Yes. And he prefers to keep that content private. So, If you could just hand that over.
Now I'm curious. Care to tell me what's on here?
Would you hand it over if I did?
No. I'd still need to confirm you told the truth.
Can't you tell Kuwana-kun's backed into a corner here? Asking an old man to help was his only choice. Let's be honest. I couldn't take that thing from you if I wanted to. All I can do is appeal to your sense of decency.
Well, I've got to say, that's more persuasive than threats ever would be. But if you really want me to give this up, at least let me see Kuwana.
I'd consider that, but he's already long gone. He was ready to cut out at the drop of a hat.
If that's the case, unfortunately, I'll need to hold on to this. A high school teacher was killed by the thugs that went after Kuwana. Her name was Yoko Sawa, a young woman dedicated to her career. I'd met her while investigating the murder of a student teacher. But while trying to get her side of the story, I ended up running into Kuwana outside her apartment. Do you know anything about this woman?
I don't.
You're really drawing a blank? You don't know anything about criminals coming all the way from Kamurocho just to get at Kuwana? Do you at least know how they're connected to Sawa-sensei?
Again, that's a negative.
And this flash drive's my only concrete lead. If it's so important to Kuwana, he should have come himself, rather than send a middleman.
Don't be so hard on him. I'm the one who taught him all his tricks.
Are you saying Kuwana's ex-Yakuza too?
Nah, he was just your average civvy before all this. But circumstances as they were, he had no choice but to go underground. That's when he came to a Jincheong, and I took him under my wing. I'm the one who suggested the handyman thing. But he took to the underground with real gusto.
What do you mean, gusto?
I'm not just talking him up. He had good reasons for diving headlong into the shadows.
Good reasons. Care to give me one or two?
You'll understand once you see what's on the lighter. Both Kuwana-kun's past and his purpose. That takes care of everything I have to say.
Not sure it's such a good idea for me to just let you leave.
Thinking about stopping me wouldn't be wise. This joint doesn't take kindly to that behavior.
That's why this is the safest place in a Jincheong, huh?
Yep, and I'm glad your face is the last one I'll see in this city.
Yagami.
Oh, great. It's Claw Guy. You were with the Lyumon, right?
They say you brought your little posse from Tokyo. You I couldn't trust an outsider.
Posse? Wait, don't tell me you think I'm RK. They're not even close to me. Hey, Tesso, you got this all wrong. Come on.
Damn it.
Come on, man. Who paid you to jump me this time?
These Kamurocho douchebags show up, strutting around like they own our city. Then I hear some teacher chick gets killed after a break-in. Fuckers. Someone let him into Jincheong, right? Right?
Look, I can see why you're pissed. But you figured coming after me was the answer?
Figured I could at least try beating a few out of you. Office visits ain't my style.
You gotta appreciate that not everyone plays by gang rules, man.
What I don't appreciate is Kamurocho trash. Now why are they here, Yagami?
I'd like to find that out myself. But I'll tell you this much, I'm not your enemy. I was first on the scene of that murder. I knew the woman personally. The culprit is RK's leader, a guy named Soma.
Shit, you serious? Then why's the rest of his crew here with him? A lot of muscle just to ice one lady.
They're after a local handyman, Kuwana. You know him?
Yeah, matter of fact, I do. Why they want him so bad?
I'm looking into that now. Which is why they're still after me. Not to mention they stabbed my partner. So the more you get in our way, the slower this'll go.
Gotcha.
You understand then?
How's about I make you the deal of a lifetime?
So
long as RK's messing around in my city. I don't mind calling you a brother.
Really? Just like that?
Sure, but I get to be Aniki, of course.
You really think this is selling it?
What you're missing here is the Liumong never target a brother. So now, if anyone lays a finger on you, the Liumong's taking their head. Same rule for all the ladies here in Ijincho. Anyone gets fresh, they become fresh meat. You with me on that, brother?
Oh, this is gonna take some getting used to.
Besides, making you a brother is the only way we save face for getting our asses handed to us, you know?
Now the truth comes out.
Anyway, let me know if you get any intel on RK. Especially where that chicken shit Soma might be. Just shoot me a location and it's done. We'll give that teacher her peace. By torturing him to death.
I was just thinking of calling you, Yagami-shi. I heard Kaito-san got stabbed at Siren.
Is that true, Yagami-san? What the hell happened?
Look, I promise I'll fill you in, but right now I really need Tsukumo's help.
With what?
I found a USB drive at Kiwana's hideout. It was disguised to look like a lighter. We have to know what's on it.
So, Kaito-san was attacked by that Soma guy too?
Yeah, while we were chasing Kuwana, Soma popped up and got him right in the gut. Almost got me too, to be honest.
You're saying one guy almost single-handedly took down the Yagami detective agency?
It's true. And right after, I got a call from Kiwana's purported relative, who wanted me to hand over the flash drive. Apparently, what's on it will tell us Kiwana's true identity and goal.
When I open it, all I see is one data file.
Of what?
It's a video. I'll hit play once you guys are all ready. You good?
Damn, what's on there? I can't take the suspense.
Let's make it full screen.
So did I. Come on, Mitsuru. Quit being a little bitch. I told you to take it in the face. Alright, let's do it over again, okay? Suzuki, make sure you're getting this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna really fucking nail him this time.
Smile. Ready when you are.
Hey, get your ass back here. Mitsuru, what did I just say about being a bitch? You asked for it. I'm gonna have to punish ya. Punishment! Punishment! Let's hear the punishment song, everybody! Punishment! Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Mitsuru-kun Strip Show! Stop! You little shit, did you just kick me? Huh? Too late to get tough now, Mitsuru. Show us what you got.
Don't struggle now. We want to see. We gotta get this all on camera. Aw, isn't this just the most pathetic sight?
Oh shit, he's pissing himself!
Ew, that's so nasty.
Disgusting! Oh, look at this shit! Get out of here.
These little shits are the worst.
One of them said something about Mitsuru Kusumoto stripping?
Yeah, he was Sawa-sensei's classmate. 13 years ago, he jumped off the roof of Kurokawa Academy.
He's Reiko Kusumoto's son, right? Vice Minister of the Health Ministry? 30 years old and still in a coma. It seems we've stumbled on private video footage of Mitsuru Kusumoto being bullied.
And it was on Kuwana-san's secret flash drive? Why would he have this?
I don't know. But his uncle said it's our lead to Kiwana's real identity and motivation.
Just a moment. This frame gives us a good look at the key players' faces. Why don't we try gleaning what we can from it?
Sounds good. Let's dig in. What the?
If I'm not mistaken, Shinya Kawai was the bully whose name got out to the public.
Yeah. RK was hunting for him in Kamurocho pretty recently, too. I have no doubt the guy in the picture they showed me is the same guy in this video. Once RK came to the conclusion Kawai had been murdered, they came here to Jincheong, hunting down Kuwana for whatever reason. This girl recording the bullying on her cell phone.
Someone said her name in the video. Suzuki.
There's another familiar face. So it all comes circling back to her, huh?
Right. This Suzuki girl has a different name now. Saori Shirosaki.
I see. That's certainly an angle I hadn't considered. Perhaps we're not on your level.
Hey, Tsukumo-kun's bending over backwards to give you that one, Yagami-san. That what you wanted?
Yeah, I know. Let me just try again. Yoko Sawa.
Over the course of our investigation, we did learn Sawa-sensei was in their class. So if she were in the video, it wouldn't be that surprising. However, we have no evidence that her name was Suzuki back then.
Sharp as ever, Tsukumo. I see I was off with that one. Reiko Kusumoto.
You're thinking of Mitsuru-kun's mother, aren't you? Did you forget we're talking about the girl who's in the video?
Yeah, you messed that up.
But relax. Let's refocus and take it from the top.
I messed that up, didn't I? Yui Mamiya, the victim in the Ahara harassment case. Suzuki was her last name before getting married. Sawa-sensei also told me that Mitsuru Kusumoto and Mamiya were classmates 13 years ago.
Yep. So we're looking at Yui Mamiya in high school.
Mamiya-san, huh? What's she like underneath it all?
Originally, word got around that Shinya Kawai was the one bullying Mitsuru Kusumoto. After watching this, though, the truth of the matter doesn't quite line up. There were really about 10 bullies involved at the time, and Yui Mamiya was one of them.
Yeah. If this video got leaked, Mamiya and the other students in it would be in deep shit. They're living out their lives like nothing happened, despite being the ones who drove a kid into a coma. If word got out, they'd be crucified by the public. Their jobs, their families, their lives would all change for the worse. Hey, this guy's face is familiar somehow.
Oh, I don't think I've seen him.
I don't know him either. Who is he?
I think I remember him. I saw him at the crime scene where Mikoshiba's body was. He was with more Kurokawa grads. He showed his ID to the Kanagawa detective. I think his name was Akaike.
That gives us an interesting perspective, doesn't it? All the people in this bullying video seem to keep popping up around our case.
Yeah, but the real question is, why was Kuwana the one with the video? Uh-huh. What the? Hey.
I feel bad for Mitsuru-kun. No one helped him, even with everything he was going through.
13 years ago, his mother was still just some nobody working at the Ministry of Health. She seems to have split with her husband and looks after her son on her own now. I don't know all the details, though.
Hey, crazy theory, but What if this husband she left was actually Kuwana-san? And maybe he recorded this to secretly check on his son?
No, Kiwana doesn't look like he could have a 30-year-old kid. Let's look for other possibilities. What the?
September 17th, 13 years ago. It's past 4 p.m., so this would be after school.
Oh, wait, this is...
Got something?
I just cross-referenced the date Mitsuru Kusumoto jumped. September 17th.
Oh shit.
That can only mean this video was recorded very shortly before his suicide attempt. The video may have provided some interesting connections, but we still don't have that crucial link. The link being the reason Kuwana-san came to possess this, of course.
Right. Kiwana's either the one who recorded it himself, or is at least a recipient of the video from the original witness.
Kuwana-san and Sawa-sensei knew each other somehow, right? Well, then, maybe Sawa-sensei recorded it 13 years ago, and then had Kuwana-san look into it, as one of his handyman requests.
It's possible, but it just feels off.
Why's that?
Because of what Siren's owner said to me.
Okay.
You'll understand once you see what's on the lighter. Both Kuwana-kun's past and his purpose.
He said we'll know Kiwana's true identity once we watch the video. But that hasn't been the case so far.
Yeah. What identity could we draw from a secret recording of some bullies?
Assuming Kiwana's in his early 40s, he would have been about 13 years ago. What if he was a school teacher of the students in the video?
In that case, we should consult the yearbook Sugiura she brought back. The one that was in Sawa-sensei's room? You still have yet to look through it.
That's right. Let me go get it.
The way you're talking, I assume you've already taken a peek?
We have, but unfortunately we didn't find Kuwana-san's face among the teachers.
This is the page for Mitsuru Kusumoto's class. Both Sawa-sensei and Mamiya are there too.
So the homeroom teacher was... this guy.
Apparently he witnessed bullies harassing Mitsuru multiple times, yet he would overlook it. All he did was smile and tell them not to overdo it.
It's not Kiwana. This is someone else.
We checked the rest of the teachers too, but never spotted Kuwana-san.
Mitsuru Kusumoto. This picture doesn't look like it was shot for a yearbook.
Correct. He was most likely already in a coma when photo time rolled around.
Sawa-sensei isn't smiling at all in this.
Huh. She did mention she blew off her class reunion. In fact, she hadn't kept in touch with her classmates at all.
No surprise there. Mitsuru-kun would be bound to come up at some point.
This is Yui Suzuki. She's definitely one of the girls in the video.
Yet another classmate involved with Mitsuru Kusumoto.
Seems like a bunch of the students on this page were in the video, huh?
Yeah, but I can't find Shinya Kawai in here.
Oh. Yeah, you're right. He's not in there.
If I'm not mistaken, Kawai left the school once he started catching flack for being Mitsuru-kun's bully. At least, that's what I read online. No real evidence yet, but it definitely sounds like how it would have played out.
But the truth is, there were more bullies who should have seen consequences besides Kawai.
Worst part is that his teacher knew. He even talked to the bullies about it, but all he said was, "Don't overdo it." But afterward, the public eviscerated him. He had to quit his teaching job.
Hold on. If he was dismissed...
You figure something out?
The homeroom teacher at the time of the incident did take some flack. He got forced out of teaching.
Yeah? What of it?
If that's the case, couldn't this teacher in the yearbook just be filling in for the other one?
I see. That definitely sounds likely. Let me search for the original teacher's name. There's a chance he won't be the same guy in the yearbook. Just give me a sec.
Hey, suspicious. What the? Suspicious. Hey. Suspicious. What the?
Yagami, I found it. The name of Mitsuru Kusumoto's former homeroom teacher. You were right. It wasn't the same teacher in the yearbook. This one's name is Yu Kitakata.
Kitakata?
Huh? Don't tell me that's...
His real name's Kitakata. Ring any bells?
That's Kiwana's real name. Soma said it to me once.
So, Kuwana-san was the original homeroom teacher?
I just found a picture. This is Kitakata-sensei from 13 years ago.
It's Kiwana.
That's him, all right.
Yeah. Not only that, Sawa-sensei was part of this class, which makes Kiwana her homeroom teacher too. This is the link we've been looking for.
Everything is clicked into place. Kiwana-san was the linchpin of this case.
So, 13 years ago, Yu Kitakata left teaching behind after Mitsuru-kun's incident, and became Kuwana the handyman. That's what made him turn to his uncle at Siren for help. He told me Kuwana tried really hard to make it in the underground. Had some good reason for it.
For living a life in the shadows? What could that have been?
To get revenge on the bullies. Maybe Kuwana blames the fact that he had to quit teaching on the bullies who caused it to happen. Then, maybe all his hatred got aimed at Shinya Kawai?
Possible. He was abducted 5 years ago by individuals thought to be his acquaintances.
Huh. You think one of them was Kuwana-san?
I wouldn't rule it out. RK might have learned of Kuwana's involvement while searching for Kawai. Maybe they came to a Jinsho so they could get details on the incident from him?
Yes, that would explain RK's arrival in town as well.
Hold up. Individuals who were his acquaintances? Meaning more people besides Kuwana-san, right? Could that mean...
You got it. We already know this.
Oh. The students in the video?
Individuals acquainted with Kawai. They certainly fit the bill.
But why would they wind up abducting him?
Huh. Maybe Kuwana asked for their help? No. He forced them to.
What makes you say that?
Well, Kuwana had this on a secret flash drive, right? But to anyone in this video, it would be their worst nightmare for it to show up now. If it did, they'd be busted as bullies who drove a high school kid to suicide.
Yep, it'd be a real disaster for them if that got out. They'd probably be done for in the public eye.
Which means this video is Kawana's leverage. It's how he got them to go after Kawhi.
You think this is enough leverage to drive people to murder, though? Kawhi was killed, right?
RK is the only one saying Kawhi was murdered. No body's been recovered yet either.
Okay, hang on. I'm barely keeping up with this.
Yeah, it's a bunch of what-ifs stacked on top of each other. But there is somebody who could potentially confirm this.
Who'd that be?
Someone in the video. Mamiya, for example. I've met with her at her home. If she was involved with Kawhi's abduction, she could probably tell us what we want to know.
I agree. Yagami-shi's provided a working theory that ties together the Kamurocho and Jincheong incidents. So if we can get Yui Mamiya to corroborate this, we should be able to extract even more information from her. Perhaps even including Kuwana-san's whereabouts.
Yeah. Looks like he hasn't given us the slip just yet.
Man, what the hell is that guy's deal?
Mikoshiba and Sawa-sensei's murders, Ihara's alibi, Kawhi's disappearance. Kuwana's most likely tied to everything. We'll get all the answers we need if we can find him.
And I guess this is bringing us that much closer?
Hopefully. I should go see Yui Mamiya tomorrow.
You should accompany him, Sugiura-shi. Considering we seem to be kicking the investigation into high gear. With Kaito-san out of commission, I'm sure Yagami-shi could use a helping hand. I'll be fine right here.
Your call, Tsukumo-kun. I'm cool with whatever.
Thanks for lending him out, Tsukumo. I'll make sure he comes back in one piece.
Hey, don't underestimate him as a party member. He can hold his own if you let him.
You know how they say your life flashes before your eyes when you're dying? That shit's real talk.
You saw it all, huh?
Yeah. There I am, bleeding out. And suddenly I'm getting the 3rd degree from Matsugane-san. Back when I was still just a rookie. Captain Hamura stares me down like, time to lose that pinky. And then, Higashi starts crying for me. Oh, if I'm gonna go, I ought to get a better final scene than that shit, right? Right?
I'm sure it'll be rosier when the time comes for real. Glad you pulled through, man.
That bastard Soma, though. Next time, he's fucked. We could have avenged Sawa-sensei if it weren't for that stupid ambush.
Well, you didn't tell the cops about him, did you?
Had to give the cops a statement, so I did. With a generous side of bullshit.
That'll get you busted, you know.
I'm joking. All I said was the truth. That I got knifed by the same twisted fuck who got Sawa-sensei.
In that case, it's only a matter of time until Soma's arrested. So for now, we'll go after Kuwana, the piece that ties it all together. We just have to find him before RK does.
Kuwana, huh? He's on my shit list too, just so you know.
Huh?
Kuwana must have had some sort of agenda back when he first met us. In fact, it's probably because you were looking into Mikoshiba. He palled around with me all because of that. I'm just the sucker of the agency, huh?
I wouldn't say that.
Still. The moment an ass for me to kick turns up, this is the shape I'm in.
Just focus on getting better. Tsukumo will stop by later, too.
What? Sugiura gonna give me the cold shoulder?
He and I are off to question Mamiya. He said he'd drive us from Jincheong and everything. waste.
So, we off to see Mamiya? I'm ready whenever you are.
Yep, let's go.
Alright, let's do this. If your theory is accurate, then Mamiya was involved in both Kawai and Mikoshiba's murders. And even if that's off, we can at least learn more about Kuwana-san as a teacher.
Yes?
Hi, it's Yagami. I dropped by with Genda Law the other day.
Not again.
I have just a few more questions I'd like to ask you.
You told me the last visit would be your only one. Seriously, why do you keep showing up here uninvited? Please, just leave me alone.
I suppose I should mention, I'm here today as a detective, not a lawyer.
So what?
And my partner here is Sugiura. He's with an agency called Yokohama 99.
Never heard of him.
He's based in Jincheong. He's working a case. Maybe you saw it on the news? The murder of Seiryo High teacher Yoko Sawa, killed in her own apartment. You and Sawa-san were classmates in high school, is that correct? After leaving Kurokawa 13 years ago, Sawa-san moved to Ijincho to teach. Are you still there?
What is it you want? I haven't seen Yoko-chan since graduation. Now go. You're barking up the wrong tree.
Maybe you'll remember Kitakata-sensei then. I ran into him at Sawa-sensei's home right before the murder. He was your homeroom teacher at Kurokawa, but resigned after the Mitsuru Kusamoto incident. Just like you, he appears to be connected to Sawa-san.
So why am I being singled out? Can't you just ask someone else?
Believe me, it's a long list. But right now, we're here to find out how Sawa-san got mixed up in all this. You two weren't necessarily on bad terms, were you?
If I had to say, we weren't on the best terms either.
Ah, how convenient. Because that's a perspective I'd like to hear more about as well.
My husband will be home soon. Can you keep it quick?
I'll give it my best shot.
Exactly. Thanks for hearing us out.
Hold on just a moment.
Huh. Wonder what's going on. You don't think she bolted, do you?
Wouldn't count on it.
Should we ring again?
Sorry to keep you waiting. I just wanted to clean up a little.
Is your son home today?
He's at English school right now. I have to pick him up soon.
Doesn't your husband help with any of that? You said he'd be home soon, right?
Excuse me, but you are in no place to make those kinds of comments.
Sorry. Didn't mean to pry.
Well, what is it you want to ask?
The groping was orchestrated, right?
Excuse you?
When Akihiro Ihara grabbed you on the train, you were in on that, weren't you? The whole thing was a conspiracy, staged to play out as it did.
You need to leave. Right now.
Dude, what gives?
No one would even think to consider a predator and his victim could be accomplices. It's unheard of. But if it was to establish a murder alibi, that's another story, considering how much lighter the sentence is. That way, Ihara got away with killing Mikoshiba, paying only a fraction of the price. But as luck would have it, proving it is going to require you to cooperate with us now.
If you don't get up this second, I am calling the police. I mean it!
It took me quite a long time to figure out how you and Ihara were connected. But once I learned Sawa attended Kurakawa, it all started falling into place. She was in your homeroom class. She looked after Toshiro Ihara. She was the link to everyone. But just before I could ask her about any of this, she was murdered by a Kamurocho gang. That same gang has been hunting your old teacher, Kitakata-sensei.
What is it you want from me?
Mamiya-san, do you have any idea where Kitakata-sensei could be? He may be Kuwana the handyman, but he hasn't answered his work line since Sawa-san's murder.
I don't know. He was my teacher a decade ago. I barely remember his face.
Well, I'm willing to wager Kitakata-sensei still remembers yours. I'll prove it right now.
Oh, God.
See for yourself.
No.
This was recorded at Kurakawa Academy 13 years ago. Feeling nostalgic yet? It was well hidden. Your Kitakata-sensei had it on a USB drive. He really didn't want this thing being seen. The most interesting part is the date. It's the very same day Mitsuru Kusumoto jumped off the school roof. And hanging out in the back, we see you, laughing and cheering right along with the other bullies.
Guess it's safe to say it's a good thing your family wasn't home. Wouldn't exactly want them seeing this, would we?
Has this video come up? Has Kitakata-sensei ever mentioned to you that he had it?
Please. Please delete it.
Considering the angle, I get the feeling that this was recorded in secret. And based on your reaction, did you even know it existed?
You know what happened to Mitsuru-kun. He's been in a coma ever since what you did to him that day. But still, only one of you took the fall. Shinya Kawai took all the blame. Well, sorta, being that he got fired, Kitakata-sensei took heat too. Still, you all just moved right along with your lives. You've even got happy little families. What? Are you expecting someone?
Mamiya-san?
Well, I knew it would happen someday.
What do you mean?
Looks like she wanted some company over.
Well, this turned into a shit show.
And would you look at that? Our old friend Akahike-san showed up to play a part. So you are all working together.
What should we do with them? They're the jerks who hurt Tsukumo-kun, right?
Break every finger on their hand, it still won't make you even. A Come on, they may have more on the way. I have an old haunt in mind we move this to, and Mamiya-san's coming with.
Huh?
Let's not cause a scene, okay? I'd hate for a finger to slip and post this video.
Hey, you think this is your personal jail, Yagami? What makes you think you can keep bringing captives here?
Well, it's the safest spot we know. Doesn't it feel good to be such a reliable friend?
Yeah, Higashi, be cool. We won't be around long.
Be cool? You think time's the issue? This is about respect, man!
What's your call? We kicking him out?
Oh, quick bit of news, Higashi-san. Kaito-san got shanked in Yokohama.
What? What the fuck? Kaito Aniki? By who?
You'll know once we're done explaining. Let me introduce you to Mamiya-san first. She called up her friends to come after us just a little bit ago.
Yeah, and I'd do it again.
I don't give a shit about that! What happened to Aniki? You better have paid him back already, Yagami. Fuck those RK assholes! And how could Aniki have let him get to him like that?
Now that Higashi-san's up to speed, should we get to it? I imagine Mamiya-san doesn't want to drag this out.
What do you intend to do with me?
First, you'll tell us everything you know. We'll decide how to deal with you afterward.
Then let's get this over with. What do you want to know?
Let's start with the video. Any thoughts you'd care to share? I found it on a flash drive in Kitakata-sensei's room. Or should I say, Kuwana's. I take it that means he's the one who recorded it.
Yes.
That means Kuwana already knew back then the rest of you were bullies too?
Yes.
If that's the case, then why was Shinya Kawai the only student thrown under the bus for it? Kuwana-san didn't show that tape to anyone else?
We had no idea we were even being taped. We didn't find out about the video, or the reason he sat on it so long until way after graduating.
Why exactly did he sit on it for so long?
Kitakata-sensei said he kept it so he could teach us for the rest of our lives.
What?
If that video came out at the time of the incident, I'm sure life would have been hard for us then. After all, Kawai was exposed online, and that would mean millions of yen in compensation for damages.
Yeah, but you guys could have wound up in the same boat.
No. At most we would have come across as dumb kids he roped into helping him. We might have caught some flack, but people would chalk it up to kids and their cliques and move on. But that's only how I would have gone if it had come out while we were still teenagers.
You're saying circumstances are different now?
I have a child now. A husband, an upscale apartment. If the world sees that tape now, I'll lose it all. And what do you think would happen to my son? The son of a woman who drove a kid to attempt suicide. His life would be ruined. That recording is more than kids being cruel. Mitsuru jumped from the school roof that very night and is still in a coma today.
I get it. You have that much more to lose now than when you were a kid.
Same for all my classmates. Kurokawa Academy is a prestigious school, after all. Most graduates go off to great universities and land high-paying jobs. One started his own company. Others have families.
And they're all in your position too, huh? If that video gets out, they lose everything.
Exactly. Do you get it now? He waited for all of us to get what we wanted in life, just so he could threaten to take it all away. And when that time came, he started contacting us. Every student you see in that video.
When was the first time Kuwana approached you?
5 years ago. I was out on a walk with my son when he came strolling up out of the blue. At first, I barely recognized him. His eyes were so hollow. Then, without so much as a word, he took out his phone and played that video. He's a psychopath!
Well, all you kids tormenting Mitsuru looked pretty psychopathic to me.
Oh, and you're so perfect. An angel who never once acted out of line? Never lashed out at someone weaker than you, or sided with the group to shut someone out. Everyone does it! We were just lucky enough to have some creep tape us, picking on some kid who couldn't take it. Why did this have to happen to me?
I'd say it's because bad things happen to bad people. You'll sling your barbs from a safe distance, but once you're on the other side of it, you curl up and play victim.
You said it was 5 years ago that Kuwana showed you the video? Reminds me of something Shirosaki-sensei was looking into.
What?
There was this guy. I think his name was Shinya Kawai. Something about him getting snatched off the streets about 5 years back.
Then it was you guys. You're the ones who abducted him in Kamurocho and murdered him.
No! It wasn't us! We could never do something like that!
Wasn't us, huh? So you're not denying he was murdered after all? Who was it then?
All Sensei told us was to find Kawai somewhere in Kamurocho, and bring him back with us, no matter what it took.
Did Kuwana tell you what he wanted with him?
He needs to be there when you all beg for forgiveness, is all he said. And if we refused, he'd leak the video. So we all went to see Kawai, but he wanted nothing to do with Sensei. Considering he'd cost him everything, that came as no surprise.
But doing nothing would cost the rest of you everything too.
Yes. So we had to force him into our van. After he put up a fight.
Yeah, that lines up with what the local eyewitnesses said. So then what happened? Nobody's heard from the guy since.
We were directed to bring him to a wharf in Yokohama. And that's where we begged for forgiveness. After that, he said we were free to go. All except Kawai.
So you left him there alone with Kuwana?
We had to. The day after, I got a message on my phone from Sensei.
What did it say?
Nothing. There was only a video. It was of all of us, pushing Kawai into the van. Turns out he recorded what we did in the city. You can see all our faces so clearly. How we covered Kawai's mouth as he screamed for help. Even if you know all the backstory, the video is a clear-cut abduction. As I was watching it the first time, another message came in. This time, a picture. When I saw it, I just went cold. That's when I knew I would never be able to escape him. It was a picture of Kawai. Dead. Anyone who saw those messages would think we killed him after shoving him into the van.
And that's how he got his real leverage on his former students.
Since then, we've been at his beck and call. No matter what he tells us to do, we wouldn't dare refuse him.
He's giving you orders?
That man! He forces us to help him. He makes us accomplices to murder.
Murder?
What the hell? Murder who, exactly?
Any bullies involved in suicides. That's who Sensei's got it in for. Anyone he can find across the country. He doesn't even care how old the case is. If a student commits suicide, and bullying is suspected as the cause, he'll turn up. As far as I know, counting Kawai, I think he's killed at least 7 people.
7? How's he doing this?
So his idea of justice is killing bullies? Across the entire country?
He said that's the only way we can atone. Anyone who drives someone to suicide must always face justice. Until society comes to terms with this, he says we'll keep getting our hands dirty. That way, we might be able to save the next few Mitsurus before it's too late for them.
Not sure I should say this out loud, but I'm kind of rooting for this guy now.
Yeah, let's not.
So was the murder of Hiro Mikoshiba part of that agenda? We know Mikoshiba drove Ihara-san to suicide 4 years prior. That has to be why Kuwana let Ihara murder him, and how you found your role in establishing his alibi.
Not just me. Grabbing Mikoshiba required a good number of people. All the people who pinned Ihara down, and even the ones who filmed it, they were working for Sensei.
So that's how it went down.
We had an unspoken agreement that we wouldn't directly take part in any killing. He just makes us his accomplices somehow. Like luring a target or digging a hole for a body. But the one thing we can't ever do is turn him down. If we do, he'll send his video of us abducting Kawai to the police. And then Kawai's body will turn up with our fingerprints all over his corpse. And we know that because he's hidden Kawai's corpse in a freezer somewhere.
He's preserving one of his murder victims?
So as long as he has that, you're wrapped around his finger.
Sounds to me like Kiwana's had one thing on his mind for 13 years. Sitting on that video and becoming an Jincheong handyman was all in service of his real motive, killing off bullies. He's dragged all his former students into this hell, until the day it destroys every single one of you.
Is today that day?
We'll see. I'm still curious about a few things though, if you don't mind.
What?
There are these scumbags chasing down Kuwana called RK. What part did they play? Strangely enough, they never came up once during your confession. So tell me, why'd they come for Yoko Sawa?
That I don't know for certain. But Sensei did reach out to Yoko-chan about 6 months ago over the phone. He was asking her about the suicide at Seiryo High.
The suicide at Seiryo High? You must be talking about Toshiro Ihara.
The lawsuit played out like no bullying took place, right? That the school wasn't responsible. But Yoko-chan was a teacher there, and Sensei was able to get the truth out of her.
How'd he do that? What did he say?
From Yoko-chan's perspective, she and Sensei were both just teachers dealing with students attempting suicide. I think that's why she let her guard down and told them everything. After learning the truth, Sensei believed Mikoshiba needed to be held accountable.
So if Sawa-sensei hadn't talked to him, Ihara wouldn't have gotten involved? And none of this would be happening in Jincheong?
Possibly.
No, this isn't right. Sawa-sensei didn't know Kuwana's identity or his objectives. She thought she was just talking through her problems with a sympathetic ex-teacher. At the very least, she sure as hell didn't deserve to die for that.
It's not like we're the ones who did it.
Who is it?
Block number. Hello?
Yo, know who this is, Yagami?
Kuwana?
Yeah. I heard you're looking for me.
Where are you?
I'm willing to meet you now if you come alone. But you have to let Mamiya go in exchange.
What?
Alright. She's free as soon as I see you.
Works for me. Then come on down to your office. I thought I'd let myself in.
What?
Gotta say, this chair's pretty comfy.
Pretty sure I locked up behind me when I left.
Listen, I'll only meet you alone. No one else. And don't make me wait long, or I could change my mind.
He told me to meet him alone. You can let Mamiya-san go once I confirm he's there.
You gonna be alright by yourself?
Well, he already knows Mamiya-san's with us. I'm guessing he was watching us from somewhere. And I can't afford to do anything that would piss him off enough to make him disappear.
Got it.
Oh, we'll take care of this end of it. Shouldn't you move your ass?
Hope you don't mind I let myself in. Now, are you gonna hold up your end and release Yui Mamiya? Come on. You and I can either try to make this work, or neither of us is gonna get what we want. So, you gonna make the call or what?
Hello? Yagami-san?
I'm with Kuwana. You can let Mamiya-san go.
Got it. Will do.
Sorry about all this, Yagami. Why don't you sit down? Maybe it's time you and I had a heart-to-heart. How's Kaito holding up?
Kaito-san's recovering in the hospital. For now. Sawa-sensei is another story, though.
I can hardly believe it. She was the last person I wanted to get mixed up in all this shit.
If that's the case, why were you already waiting in her apartment? RK's top men were lying in wait over there to get their hands on you. So why was she the one lying on the ground? Answer me, Kuwana. Was it because of you?
Would you feel better if it was?
How dare you?
You're thinking that if you hadn't stuck your nose in her affairs, she might be at home grading her papers right now. You tell me, is that what's eating away at you right now? Because if it is, you're mistaken. That guilt is mine alone to bear. It's my burden to carry. When I saw on the news that she had been murdered in cold blood, it felt like the whole world had stopped spinning to me. I would take it all back right now if I could. But unfortunately, to fix this, I'd need to turn the clock back further than you'd think.
You mean back to when you were a school teacher?
Yeah, basically. Back to when I still had a little faith in humanity. Seeing someone's life get cut short, you never really bounce back from it, do you? But I don't have to tell you that. I did my homework on you, Yagami. It seems you were a fairly accomplished lawyer. You even scored a murder acquittal. But we both know how that ended. The death of an innocent young woman. You and I are the same. We both have scars. And they're the type of scars that never fully heal.
Yeah. Maybe you're right.
But for Sawa-kun, it was 13 years ago. The very day before Mitsuru Kusumoto jumped, she stopped me in the hall so she could tell me about how serious the bullying really was. Up until that day, I just assumed it was boys being boys, teasing. I figured it was harmless, that they'd get bored with it, and then they'd move on. I mean, come on. Kawai had to have been twice the size of Mitsuru. It's not like I'd seen any fighting. So I warned him not to overdo it. And eventually he would take the hint.
Well, according to what I was told, you smirked, actually.
Yeah. I guess that's what I did. I was too late. Sawa-kun had to point it out. Sensei, how could you be so blind? She asked. Her eyes were this piercing mix of pity and scorn. According to what she told me, nearly half the class was bullying Mitsuru. She said she'd seen him at the station. She made it sound like he had half a mind to jump onto the tracks right then and there. I'm not so presumptuous anymore. But back then, I used to think my students were my biggest fans. I thought I'd won their hearts and minds. But the look on Sawa-kun's face that day made me see the truth. I couldn't just go on smiling like nothing happened. So I decided to do my homework. The next day, I put a hidden camera in the classroom after school.
So you admit that you're the one who recorded that video?
Yeah. You saw it, right? Talk about the ugly side of kids. Hard to watch. wasn't it? Unfortunately, by the time I picked up the camera and saw what it recorded, Mitsuru had made his jump. I missed him by a few crucial moments. What happened in that classroom was the final straw. Later on, all the bullies were asked what happened. Each and every one of them lied. Kawai started it. It wasn't our idea, they said. To anyone outside of it, all they'd seen was Kawai forcing Mitsuru to do his bidding. So the people held culpable were Kawai and myself. The callous homeroom teacher who deliberately turned a blind eye. That was the day I began living my life with real purpose.
So you couldn't forgive your students who got away with bullying. You went so far. You put aside your own life to make sure they atoned somehow.
That's right. Mitsuru Kusumoto's still a vegetable. He's as good as dead. But I don't care. We have no right to forget about him.
You say that, even though Sawa-sensei ended up paying for it. I'll ask you again. Why were you at her apartment the other day? Don't dodge the question this time.
I wouldn't say I dodged it. But I suppose I should explain from the beginning. 4 years ago, there was a suicide at Sawa-kun's school. It was her own student this time. You know this, right? A student at Seiryo High School? Toshiro Ehara.
Yeah.
When she was in court, Sawa-kun had no choice but to say there wasn't any bullying. Soon as she told me that, I knew Hiro Mikoshiba would be my next target. Of course, she had no idea about any of that. When Sawa-kun learned Mikoshiba had been murdered, though, she reached out to me herself.
What did she want?
She had a sneaking suspicion that I was involved in his death. She called me a few times, prodding carefully for answers. Quite the perceptive lady, really.
And? What kind of answers did you give her?
I denied any knowledge of it, but at one point, she mentioned something kind of odd. That there was a detective at the school already investigating the incident.
Huh?
She meant you, of course. A detective already knee-deep into the case, despite the police barely even knowing about Mikoshiba. The police are a pain in the ass, but when an out-of-town detective comes sniffing around, that's bad. I knew I had to act fast to get you off the trail. Although, Sawa-kun was a problem too. I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone.
And then what?
First, I found out where the two of you would be meeting up, at that little cafe. Then, I hired the Liumang to step in. But you put up one hell of a fight. They had strength in numbers, but you would have taken out the whole group if I hadn't stepped in. Nonetheless, my other message went through. At the same time, Sawa-kun was handed a photo of Mikoshiba's final moments. I left that task to someone you know. Yue Mamiya. They hadn't seen each other in 13 years. Sawa-kun had no idea.
The lady in the sunglasses. Yue Mamiya was involved in that too?
Everything I did that night was intended as a warning to Sawa-kun. Although, I guess I didn't have to be so extreme about it.
Yeah. Sawa-sensei was too smart. She must have started suspecting that you'd had something to do with Mikoshiba's murder. After all, who else could have known we'd be meeting at that cafe? She'd have traced it right back to you.
Even if Sawa-kun had started to suspect me, I knew she wouldn't sell me out to the cops. We're too alike. The both of us lost students to suicide on our watch. That said, I couldn't bear the thought of dragging her down into the mess I started, so I scared her off, and I thought she would stay away. The day she was killed, she called to ask if we could speak in person. I could tell something was wrong. She was on the verge of tears the whole call. Then she broke down. I asked her why, of course, but she wouldn't give me a straight answer no matter how I tried to phrase the question.
So then what? Did you just waltz on over there? It doesn't seem like you.
Watch it. You don't know me well enough to say that.
Maybe. But I assume you had some sort of plan going in. Were you gonna confess to her?
Here's the thing. If she'd figured out that I was behind Mikoshiba, and it didn't sit well with her, I would have told her every last detail. Sawa-kun knew. I think she would have understood me. Or at least that's what I had believed. In hindsight, I think she was forced to make that call. Under normal circumstances, I'm sure she'd have rather washed her hands of me. Hard as it is to hear, I think she called me under duress. RK probably had her hostage. That would explain the vague responses. That's probably why her voice was trembling. It's tragic.
You mean it was RK? Why do they want you so badly anyway?
I don't know.
What?
If I knew their angle, I'd be doing more than just scurrying around.
You serious?
Believe me, I'm just as clueless as you are, much as I hate to admit it. Honest. I'm not thrilled that a small army wants my head on a platter. Have you noticed how RK seems to show up at the worst possible times? Someone must be pulling their strings.
Then we're on the same page. At least we agree on something.
Just a sec. Yeah. I'm still over here with Yagami-san. You're not being tailed by any of his guys, are you? Okay. Then I'll meet you right now. That was Mamiya-kun. She said she's free. You guys have been true to your word. Tell Sugiura-kun that I said thank you.
Now you want to go? We still have some business to settle here.
Now remember, I'm the handyman here. Let me do the dirty work. I don't know what else to tell you. But you need to get out while you still can.
If you disappear into the night, I don't want to go busting my ass just to find you again. Before you leave, I'll need some contact info. A phone number would be nice.
Oh, no need for that. As far as I'm concerned, this is goodbye.
I wouldn't count on that. You won't get away.
You don't give up! Now look at you! Hold up! Leave me alone! You don't give up!
You won't get away.
Anything else to do? Now look at you!
Hold up. You won't get away. Hold up. Where'd he go? Kuwana! You guys again. You really need the masks? Come on, Kurakawa kids.
You heard that, right? The detective here already knows everything.
Kuwana!
What are you going to do now? What do you think happens when he spills everything? Sounds like your lives are over, unless you shut him up.
But Sensei, you'll finish the job for us, right?
Huh? Is that you, Akahike?
Oh, he's even got a name to your voice.
Answer me, Sensei!
I know. I'll be the one to finish it. You just knock him out.
Okay then. Time to learn your lesson!
Come on. What kind of lesson is this? Kuwana? Oh no, Kuwana! Really? So nice of you to stick around. Mamiya-san. Well, since Kuwana couldn't stay, sounds like you're not out of the woods just yet, huh?